Hello, how's everybody doing today? I'm a couple of minutes late, but I messed up this stream. Can you believe it? I practiced, I done a test run, and I still messed up. I started the live and I thought I was only getting it ready to start, but I actually started it. So I just went to duck out of there for a minute, and it stopped it. So the live lasted about 3 seconds, so I had to set up a whole new live. So I apologize to anybody. If you got an email from me, you would have one link in that very first email. So I quickly ducked over to my computer and I made up a second email that said I'm live now, and I put the new link in it. So if things get a bit messed up, I'm so sorry for that, but I've got my 𝗏𝗡𝗅 on, so I'll soldier on. I'm not going to worry about being 2 minutes late. I'm pretty sure worse things than that can happen, and they do. So anyway, I'm Donna and welcome to my live. And if you're catching the replay, a big hello to you too. Now today I've got my notes here because I've just got too much to go through, so I really do need to follow notes. Today the topic is how to get your unfinished journals finished. I'm going to go over a few things. I've just noticed over the years making junk journals has been on the rise, and a lot of people have had a lot of trouble with getting a journal started and even more finished. Some people do not get their journals finished. Now, I'm an experienced bookmaker, so I've been doing it for years, and I still don't finish my journals. But the difference is between people, there are people who really worry about every step they do when they craft. Well, the whole thing about crafting is that you don't get worried about it. It's meant to be fun. So I'm here, I've started doing these lives so that I can help encourage you. I can help you feel at ease, that there's really nothing to worry about, like me being late on this live tonight, and I messed up by starting it and stopping it. So the live was just short-lived and it was done and over with, and I could be embarrassed, but I think, why? It's just a mistake. I made a mistake, so I just get on with it. The same applies with craft. When you're journaling, if you do something, it doesn't really matter. Most things you do when you're junk journaling can be fixed, even if you put your journal down and don't touch it for 6 months or a year. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you're here, you're watching me, and you think, okay, I really would like to finish my journal. Well, I want you to know that I would love to help you get that journal finished. There's a few tips that I'm going to share with you tonight on how you can do this. Before we start, I just want to read this comment that a wonderful lady left for me, because I've got a community on YouTube, right? You know, the little community tab. If you haven't seen it, across the top of anybody's YouTube channel, you can click on live, you can click on contents and watch the video, or just video it is for you, and you can click on community. Well, this lady left me a comment, and her comment was, I'm going to call her Sis, because she had you know, some people have numbers for their channel name. So I'm just going to call her Sis. And she said, long ago, maybe 40 years, I made one plain book from scratch. It was a nightmare. I have started many envelope, accordion card and bag ones, never finishing one. I got about 9 book ones going right now, and I'm gathering things for several theme ones. Each one I've learned a lot. Just wish I'd finish one before I die. I force, and since I'm oh God, I'm getting all tongue twisted now because that cracked me up. And since I'm pushing 80, that's highly possible. I didn't know whether to cry or laugh when I read that, but anyway, firstly, Sis, if you're watching, I wish you a long and happy life, and I hope you find your way back to this video, and let me help you get one of your journals finished at least. Anyway, I want to also let you know that I've got, when I find the right page here, because I'm all messed up now. I'm not sure where my comments are here, so I'm not going to try and be the world's best streamer. So I'm just going to tell you that I've started a Facebook group, and it's called Finish That Junk Journal. So in that, I'm going to put that, as soon as I figure out how to do it, I'm going to put that in the comments. So if you want to, you can go and join that. That's just going to be a little group where I'll be able to help everybody out that wants to just talk or get encouragement from each other. You can pop in there and join that group. Now, before I do that, I'm just going to have a quick look and see if I can figure out how these comments work. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to see here whether or not we've got any comments on the browser here. And it doesn't really look like there are. So just give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to take a quick break to see whether or not I can make sure that I've got you all joining me here on this stream. I'll be right back. Okay, I've just done a quick check and I can see that I've got some of you here in the room with me. So that is really good news. I'm sorry that I just gave you some quiet time then, but I thought you don't want to see the back of my head and you don't want to see me. I just had a quick look at my iPad so I could check that out. Anyway, I know there's a very small delay between what I say here live and when you hear me. It's about 10 seconds. So if you do put a comment in the chat and I'm not replying to it, it's because I haven't got the chat right here in front of me when I'm looking at a particular camera. I have to actually sort of get off and look at the iPad, and I don't really want to do that while I'm talking. What I noticed, Marthy, you're one of the first names I saw. Hello, I am so glad that we finally got to catch up on a live. It's good to see you here. And I'm going to put my iPad here. It's a bit rude, but it's the only way I can do it. Jenny's Cupboard. Jenny, I've seen your name before. Crafting mess fun, yeah. And I'll just say hello to a few of you, just so you know I've got you here. Hello, Anna. And Anna, Gemma's here. Hello, Gemma. Hello. Didn't I get off to a good start? Oh, hello, Rhonda from the United States. You're up early. And I've got Denise. Hello, Denise. And Carolyn. And Ginny. Ginny, hello. You're from Australia, right? Yes. Anyhow, I'm gonna mosey on. What I'm gonna do now is I've got this. It's a game, but it's a test, and it's something that you can all join in on. When I first done this, it done my head in, so it's going to be a little bit of something a little bit different. But I know that we all, well, I don't know if we all do, but I reckon I've got pretty good self-control. Like, I can get up, and if I'm going to make a journal, I know I'll make it, I'll start it, and I'll finish. Even though I said I've got some journals that I haven't finished. But it's not because I'm slack. It's because I never turn off. My head doesn't turn off. I've got so many creative ideas that I cannot. Sometimes if I'm in the middle of something and another idea comes in, I've got to do it. So I've got a pretty good excuse why I don't finish some journals, but I'll always go back to them because of my system here. See my drawers over there? Well, they're not drawers. They're like, that's from a post office. They're like dividers to put paperwork in and stuff. Well, each one of those dividers that you can see there, I've got to move my other hand. So those little drawers, they all come out. But anyway, I've got off track already. It's really hard to stay focused on these lives. And that's why I've got this piece of paper. So we're going to talk about self-control and willpower. And let me know if you think it's overrated, because I don't know. I don't think it is. But anyway, so we'll do a little warm-up and have a bit of fun. I'm going to show you something on the screen in a minute, but I'll explain it first. I want you to indicate which colour you see and ignore what the word actually says. So you're going to look at when I put it on the screen, and because I can't hear you, you've got to say it out aloud, right, to yourself. So when you look at the chart, you've got to use self-control. So the meaning of the word conflicts with the colour of the word. So you have a conflict. And the thinking goes, you have to use your self-control to power your brain through this conflict and come up with the right answer. Okay, so here we go. If you want it, I'll do it first, or you can get straight into it, whichever you like. But seeing I'm the only one with the speakers and the voice here, it's probably best that I do it first. Right, so I'm going to indicate the colour, not the word. And then you'll be able to see exactly what I mean. Red, blue, green, purple, yellow, red, blue, purple, black, green. What do you think? Isn't that a brain teaser? All right, so I'm going to put it back up. Or actually, what'll I do? I might swap cameras so that you can see it on, whereas I don't have to. Oh no, I can keep talking to do it this way. I'll do it this way. So here it is again. Right now, it is super hard, but I'm going to be quiet and give you a second to give it a go. I don't know if it works for what is it? ADHD people. I don't know. Honestly, it is a really bizarre test. Oh, Robin, you're here. Hello. Oh, God. That is so funny. How'd you go, Robin? Could you do it? I actually, the first time I done it, I struggled big time. My brain just snapped. It is so hard to do. Oh, Marthy, I like it. She just goes. This is how I envision. This is how I envision you going, Marthy. But anyway, oh yeah, you know what, Gemma? You said you blurred your eyes. You know what I did? I looked at the very bottom corner of each word so I could only see the colour rather than the word. So that was a bit of a brain teaser, but it was good fun. Anyway, so we've done that bit, so I can move on and we can sort of get ready to start the chat, if you like. But before I start, I will say what I've got over here. I think, should I do that or should I try and work out, I guess, if the first thing I would probably need to know is how many of you here tonight or today, whatever time of day it is for you, how many of you have started making a junk journal and haven't finished it? Now you're going to have to pop that down in the chat, and because I've got my iPad here now, because my chat's supposed to be on the screen, but it's don't know what happened to that bit. Not happening for me. So once I know how many of you, if I get a bit of a head count here, I might be able to work out. Righto, so we've got a couple here. Well, I know a couple will do. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh gosh, that's what it's all about. That's what we're talking about. So what I've done to help me stay organised and to keep myself in check, because I'm a creator and I make videos to help people learn how to do certain things in their junk journals, or even make a junk journal in its entirety, I've got to keep organised. This area, this part of my room is only a piece of it. I've got a very large studio. So this shelf over here is what I do when I've got to keep my desk clear, which is this area here. So if you look at this area here, where I've now got my notes, this is where I do all my lessons. So this is where you see me work every other day. When I've got my videos out here, I'm here happily, working along. So this part, I can't work with my desk all messed up. So I've got to have everything elsewhere and keep my desk nice and clear. So what I do is I've got little boxes like this. What have I got in here? See, I've only got one that's not nearly finished, and this one here is just in the pigeonhole, but it's not in a box because it's a bit too long for my box. So I've just got it in the pigeonhole itself. So you can see here in this one, I'll go to the overhead, it's much easier to see. So this one here in the overhead, you can see I've almost finished this journal. I've only got a little bit to do in it. So I've got my goodies still in here. I've got a paper bead that I made to match. This is just a wallpaper cover, and I've got that there. I'm going to do a lesson on this one. I'm pretty sure I recorded how I made this, like one of those waterfall lace journals. So I'm going to show you how I made this one day when I finish it. And like I said, I made that to match. And all this stuff here is stuff that I want to use for this journal. So I keep it all in here. I've got some beads that match the colour. I keep everything in this box. And I know that even if I don't get back to it for another month, that everything is here and I don't have to worry about it. And I can just pick it up and come over here and start working on it. And my desk is always clear. This one here, like I said, it's too long, but I've made one, and I'm going to show you how to make this one as well. I've even got my notes in there so I don't forget how many pages I've put in it. And I've got the fabric. It's a nice soft cover, so I'm going to show you a few ways how to do this. But see here, I've gathered my pages. I've got things that, and I don't mind doing it, taking my time doing it this way, because if you find something that you like later on and you see someone make something on YouTube and you go, oh, I like that, I think that'll suit this journal. Well, I've got the cover almost made, and I've got these pages in here, and these are extra pages, and I definitely want to use this to, you know, decorate the cover somehow. So by keeping them all together there and the one I've made, I'm not going to lose track of what I'm doing. It's just so easy for me. It's just so easy for me to get my work done when I work this way. Right. Now I'll have to go back to my notes. So now I know that there's a few of you that have not finished journals, and just excuse me for a sec while I catch up on the chat. The project boxes are great. If you, and I'll just see who I'm talking to, Denise said she needs the project boxes. The project boxes are great, and I'll show you another thing I do as well. Under my desk, I've got trays, and at the moment I've got nothing on it because I've pretty much caught up with everything. But I can stack this tray. It's just one of those caterer's trays. I've got 4 of them. So when I get really inspired and busy, I just put things on here, and it fits lots and lots of stuff on. I can put heaps of papers on there, and I just have some drawers underneath my desk, and it just sits there. So I'm good to go. When I need to grab something, I just pull it out, and I can just put it up the top on my desk and work away. So boxes, trays, any sort of vessel that's not going to bend your paper, that will help you get organised and help you complete your journal in good time. Now, I guess in my notes here, I've written things like, the first thing you got to do is, if you're going to take actionable steps, you got to ask yourself, and you got to identify why you stopped. So I've given you reasons why I stop. I know why I stop and start. So I'm, I'm okay with how I do things. But if you don't identify why you stopped making your journal, that is something you've got to ask yourself and say, well, okay, list the things you're stuck on. If you got stuck on something, write yourself a little list and say, well, right, this is my journal. I made the cover. I got the pages folded in half. I got them ready to put in. I've pretty happy with how I've put the cover together. I've just got to work out what thread I want. I've got to work out how many holes to put in it. So put that on your list. And that's going to help you identify where you stopped and why you stopped. And that's going to help you get started again. So you've got to set a clear intention for your journal, which is pretty much, again, what I said. With some more things about that is, was it the theme that you had trouble with? Are you stuck on the cover? Have you not even made the cover? Are you stuck on how wide the spine needs to be? Are you stuck on how many signatures will fit in that spine? Are you stuck on how many pages to put in your signatures? Or is it something else? Can you just let me know what, if any of those things, or is there something I haven't thought of that I could have added on my list? Because with this new Facebook group I've started called Finish My Junk Journal, or Finish the Junk Journal. Oh gosh, I don't even know the name of my own group. I've got to find that. That's going to bug me. Where is it? I knew I should have written that down right on the top of the list here, because I was going to be saying it a couple of times. Finish that junk journal. I found my notes there. So let me check your replies, because I know you've got a bit of a delay behind me. Stuck on how to and what to add to decorate. Right. Memory keeper journals, honestly, you're going to have to, I apologise for not knowing your name to your channels, because when I'm on live like this, my head's going too many directions to remember people's name. Hey, Carol Stern. Hello. And Carol said she thinks that she loses confidence in what she was making and doubted whether it was good enough. I'm going to talk about that as well. And make a silly mistake and put the signature upside down. I hear that so many times. Putting your signatures upside down is not the end of the world, because all you got to do is snip them stitches, pull the thread out, put some new thread back in your needle and sew them back in after you turn your pages up the right way. You must do that. But honestly, do not worry about that. The practice of sewing them in the second time it doesn't matter. You're here to craft. It doesn't matter if you have to do it again. If you cook and toast and you burn it, you got to cook another piece. You can't eat that black toast. So you got to start again. Okay, Susan said how you pick the pages. Look, it's back to that one. I'll show you, just as I'm stuck here, because this is what we're doing, how to finish your journal. Because Susan says, how do you pick your pages? I'm just going to show you something. We'll come back to this overhead shot. I shouldn't have put that journal away, because I can actually show you. Yeah, this one here is not sewn in. None of these are sewn in. Now these pages here, what I do is, again, you've got your box or you've got your tray. Just grab a pile of papers. Here's another good example. You just grab a pile of papers. See this one here? Haven't finished it. All I've done is I found that piece of paper and I like it. So I folded it that way. That is a piece of coffee dye paper. I liked it because it had that wrinkly pattern in it. I liked it, so I put it there. This one is like a colouring book, like a drawing, a line drawing, and I printed it first, but to do this method, you've got to use a laser printer. And I put it was just white paper, and then I coffee dyed it. And I used the pattern off my baking dish for that, and I just stick that there until I'm ready to do something with the pages. Same with that one. It's just an embroidery type drawing, and I can just fold that over and put that in as my page. I keep things as simple as I can. If I find an old scrap piece of paper, see, it's got, that should not work with a junk journal because that doesn't appeal to me. But I know that I can glue this on the back of it. So you don't need anything overly elaborate. This is just a page that was torn out of a magazine. So that's one way. That's another, that's a pattern that was in an old book. So I just gather these pages up as I find them, and if a page is too short, I'll join it with, this is one of my hinge little strips. They're on my free downloads page. If you want some hinges, you don't have to use them as hinges. You can use them to extend your page out, join that page on, and then put some more paper over the top. That's just a book page. So there's lots of ways you can select your papers. For me, I find it easy, and I know that it's not like that for everybody. I know that. So this one here, again, all these papers I just picked up and put in my pile here. I'll go to this one. And just because I've put them there, this one I got from 𝗃𝗏𝗄𝗏, and this one was done with the, the eco dye printer. Not the laser printer. And usually when you put coffee dye on these, they bleed. But I give it a try. So go over to 𝗃𝗏𝗄𝗏's YouTube channel and see if you can find, she's got some free downloads. And inkjet, that's what I'm looking for. She used an inkjet printer and then a paintbrush and put the coffee dye. So that's a perfect page. Again, I've just deli paper and I printed that. Old papers. This is an embroidery page. This is a page out of a diary. This is a cooking recipe. This is a journal page that wasn't overly old, so I've just I glued something over the top. Scrapbook paper. I made a long document style envelope. Just start collecting your papers. Don't try and have them all in one go to be in your journal in an hour. Collect them over a week or two. Don't try and pressure yourself into having everything here done perfectly in one time. That is why I have my pigeonholes, why I have my trays, and why I have my boxes. So I can happily collect these things, and when I forget I've got something and I find it a week later, I go, oh, that's going to look perfect in here. And I'll fold it and I'll put it in the tray with it. And I will not sew these pages in until I've put them paper bag with stenciling on it, until I've put them in the order that I want them after I get myself a nice gathering. Okay, so that's the only way I know how to explain it, the way I do it anyway, to gather pages. So I'm coming back to the chat now. I'm just going to have another look at the chat. Whoops, there go my scissors. This is all new to me, trying to be an octopus here. Go from one screen to the other. Yes, Sherry said, sometimes less is more. That is it. 100%. You are spot on, Sherry. And that's what I just showed then. It doesn't make sense to go overboard. You don't need to. Just keep everything simple, and it's more pleasing to the eye. Yes, you can try coffee dyeing your paper first if you've got a printer that behaves itself when you put it in, or you keep those waves out of your paper and have it nice and flat. That'll work, no worries. Martha, you're great at putting your pages together. I love how you put your pages together. You think, this, not only you, but I'm talking to you now, you think differently. And I love the surprises when you show your pages in our private group. And I'm not talking about the new group that I've got for Finish That Junk Journal. I'm talking about our private group. Martha's in our private group. I love looking at your pages because I go, oh, I want to do that. I love that. It's really, really good. You're welcome, Marthy. I'm going to get myself organised again and check me list. Oh, this is going to take me a month of Sundays to get through, I think. Okay, now, we've talked about what you get stuck on and things like that. Another thing that's going to be helpful for you here is the group, the Facebook group. If you like using Facebook, it's only, an hour ago, there was only 5 members. It's that brand new. So it's a very small new group. And what my aim is to help, and for you all to help each other as well. It's going to be pretty specific in that way. So just say, for instance, if you had to identify what you're having trouble with and it was the theme. If it was the theme and you didn't like it, or you can't follow a theme, because I've seen comments of ladies saying they struggle with a theme. What theme? How do I put this theme together? How do I put that? And I go, just either, you pick a gratitude, you pick travel, memories, or vintage. And then you do what I just showed you with the paper pages. You just start collecting things. Don't try and do it in an hour, unless you've got a big stash of paper like I have. And even then I don't push it in that hour. I drag myself over days so that I know that I'm going to be happy with the papers that I put together. So you do not have to work with a theme. What I always suggest is try changing the theme to a colour. And that can be a vintage theme style colour, even though I said the word theme then. But just say, let's go here. Let's go here. This is what I mean by that. That is a vintage colour, right? That's a vintage. I'd call that a vintage theme, but it's not. It's just a vintage, what it is. So anyway, just say I wanted to put my journal together. I'd choose these as my colours. So I'll pick everything that I pick up, I'll put together that I think will look all right with this. And I know it's going to be the coffee dyed paper. I know it's going to be, you know, anything that I put stencils on. I can find a colour that's in that flower, in the leaves, in this part here. I'm just going to go and I'm going to find every colour I can that sits nice beside that piece of paper. So it's always a good idea, if you struggle with themes, drop the theme idea and go to a colour and follow that colour along throughout your journal, and mix some plain pieces with it and some stencil if you've got stencils, and just use a nice soft colour. Don't have to go anything over the top. So if it was just say you'd already got halfway through your journal and it already had a theme, doesn't matter. Continue it on with a colour. If you get stuck on that theme and can't find any more things in that theme, just add colour that goes with the pages you've already got in there. Add some more to that. Now, if it was the cover, say, I'll show you something. I've got this here. Now I've moved it. I thought I had it just there, but I've moved it. Oh, here it is. I'm going to show you something else. I've got this here, this cover here. I made it. I had a big flower on there. I made the flower. I put that on there and I hot glued it on. So it was stuck on there pretty good, and I didn't really like it. So I ripped it off. All right, and this is nowhere near finished. Oh, well, it's near finished. So I didn't like that. So then I found this little thing here that I made ages ago, and I put that on there, and I thought, well, I don't mind that. That's starting to work a bit better for me now, because it's got the buttons here. It's got these vintage buttons and that, and I just got to figure out something to put here. So, you know, it's got this really old bow, and it's just the cover, but I'm not overly fond of it. I'm not that wrapped in it. The back's, you know, sort of carry on from the front, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it, because I know one day I'm going to get up and it's going to work. Whatever pieces I put that needs some more pieces on it, it's going to finish off and it's going to work for me. So I'm not going to worry about it. So don't be afraid to change your cover even that you've started. If you don't like it, pull a piece off. Even if it's glued down good, I just ripped that off and just kept going. All right, so we've got, if it was the spine, say if it was the spine width that you're having trouble with. Say you settled for a 1-inch spine. Now, a 1-inch spine fits a lot more in it than you think it does. So you would then have to work out, okay, how many pages do you put in that 1-inch spine? You do not have to make your spine, you know, like, oh, where am I? Trying to make my fingers look right on the screen. You don't have to make your spine really chunky like you see some people make. Their journal might look good and it might suit what they've made, having a really big wide spine. When you make it, you have nothing but trouble, because you're trying to sew in tons and tons of pages. That is a lot of space to sew pages in. So I would recommend that you stay with a narrow spine until you get practice, until you get better at it and better at knowing how many pages to put in that spine, and knowing whether or not you want the spine sitting flat when it's closed, or gator mouthed when it's opened, or closed and still gator mouthed. So you know, there's lots of factors and there's too much to go over in tonight's chat, but that's what the Facebook group is going to be about. So we can continue on in the Facebook group after tonight, and I'll be coming back on and doing more lives. So we can bite this down into stages. And that way you'll be able to work out whether you want one signature with 30 pages in it, and you can put that smack bang in the middle of that 1-inch spine, or whether you want to separate those 30 pages into 10 and have 3 10. So that's one signature with 10 in it, the second signature with 10 in it, and the third signature with 10 in it. We'll still give you 30 pages, you've just spread them out. Okay, so the organisation and the gather of your supplies. We've talked about that pretty much from the beginning. So what you could do is you take 15-20 minutes a day, or however much time you got, 10 minutes. You'd be surprised at what you can collect when you start collecting your stuff, and keep them in that designated space and avoid distractions while you're doing that little bit of creativity for yourself. If you don't have that spot, get a tray like I've showed you. And you can create a simple layout plan if you're that way inclined. If you take lists, I'm a list taker. I have to, because I'm a YouTuber. So I've got to have multiple lists, and I have plans of everything I do. But plans don't suit everybody. You're not going to sit down and draw a sketch of how you want your cover to look. You're not going to draw a sketch of how you want your pages. You might. So if you are a planner, you could do that. You could definitely plan. So that is another way that would be helpful to you as well. I'm going to make sure I don't double up on these pages. Now, let me check the chat again, so just so that I don't lose touch with you all here. Well, I don't want to just be talking. I feel like I'm talking to myself, but I know I'm talking to you. Oh, Marthy, I'd love to have you in the new group. Yeah, I'll put the link in our little private group. I'll put the link there for you, but I'm going to put it here as well. I'm gonna share it here in the chat, but it won't be until we've ended. So when I've ended this live tonight, I'll put the link to the new group in this chat down the bottom. Now, Ginny's saying she's been overthinking too much with the theme and the colours. And yeah, I like the vintage florals too. Because I don't know if you know that I've got, I think you might hear that I've got my mum's stash. It's extensive. And she had a lot of vintage florals, or I have. And I just love it. And sometimes, like that one I just showed you, it was pulled out of a magazine, but then I got a little, like a breakfast bowl that you would normally put your cereal in, and I just get 1 teaspoon to 2 teaspoons, depend on how dark I want it, and I put coffee in that bowl and tip about a cup of water, hot boiling water in it. And I dissolve the coffee, I get a paintbrush, and then I just painted straight over the top of that paper, and it gave it that more vintage look. It was already vintage, but it gave it a more vintage look and that touch of grunge. Not overly, just a touch. So if you don't want it too dark, just go 1 teaspoon of coffee. And that, I do that. I put a sheet of plastic on my table so I don't have to have a dedicated spot outside or anything. I put a piece of plastic garbage bag on my table and an old towel on top of that, and get the paintbrush out and just paint over that piece of paper. And if the oven's going, I'll dry it. If not, hair dry. If not, I'll let it air dry. But there's lots of ways that you can use colour. Kerry, hello! Hello! 𝗏𝗃chị shed. Shell, is this the first time you've been on a live chat? Do you know that I done a practice run last week. This is my second, well, if you count my practice last week, my test run, this is my third actual as a YouTuber doing a YouTube live. The first one was like a year ago, like, I don't know, ages ago. But anyway, I wanted to get my setup a little bit better before I started doing them, because I wanted to be able to talk to you face to face, plus swap over to my overhead view when I wanted to show you some stuff, because I think that goes a long way. Kerry, you made it! Wow! Oh dear, oh dear. You know what, if I thought if I make it 8 o'clock on, I've got more chance of my Australian friends, even though you're in South Australia, I've got more chance of you tuning in. And my sister, she was here a while ago. She's from Western Australia. So she tuned in, but I don't know if she's still here. Are you there? Oi, are you here? No, she's quiet. Well, I'll have a look at the chat in a minute and see if she's still here. And do you realise my sister does not craft? No, her and her husband race pigeons. That is her creativeness. She races pigeons. Okay, now we're back to some ideas on getting your journal finished. You can allocate time blocks each day. That doesn't suit everybody. I know that. I get up really early. I used to be a night owl because I'm a geek, and I'd stay up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. But now I've retrained myself to go to bed at a decent time at night, and I'm up at 6 o'clock in the morning. So I can craft all day if I want to. I am medically retired, so I'm at home all the time. So I can craft, and I don't really have to allocate time blocks. But for some people, they have a routine. You might like to get up, you have your cuppa, you'll make your bed, you'll do your floors, you'll do your washing, you do your housework, you'll take the dog for a walk. You've got all these things, and then you'll go, well, okay, what I'm suggesting is you allocate a time block to set aside for creating. So you can set aside 30 minutes a day or an hour to work on your unfinished journal, or a journal you've started so you can finish it. And if you wanted to, you could use a timer. There's timers on our phones. And when I first started time management, because I found I was wasting time, because I had time to waste, I started using a timer. And it's amazing when you've got that timer going, say you put 30 minutes on the timer, it lasts what feels like 2 hours. So give that one a try. And stay focused on that journal time. So once you start doing that, you will be surprised that 30 minutes might turn into 2 hours, and you'll get a lot more done than you started out to do once you get in the flow. if you don't get in the flow, you've got to then say to yourself, well, righto, well, that page isn't working. Turn it over. Do the next page. You don't have to stay on one page and get stuck on it. Put that one aside and start one that makes you smile. Start one that you know you can get done and move on. Just keep going. Don't let something stop you. And that's a block. That's one of the blocks. Okay, so another thing is embrace the imperfection and enjoy the process. Now, I forget, because I didn't take notes of the chat, but someone earlier, you'll have to remind me who you were. Someone earlier said about, you know, not being, it wasn't imperfection, your exact words, but it was something like that. So I say, embrace imperfections and enjoy the process. So allow yourself to be free from perfectionism. I was a perfectionist. From a child, it's just I don't call it a disease because that's terrible, but it is a nuisance. That's what it is. It's a nuisance. The goal is to enjoy and relax, not to stress over the details. Just don't. If you do, stop it. Just don't. If you get stuck on any one page, move on. Now, if you need inspiration, go and watch one of my videos. Go and watch someone like Eva from Bohemian Crafting. That woman she's a junk journal genius. And you've got Yvonne Preston. Like 7-8 years ago, I started watching YouTube and Yvonne Preston was amazing to watch. She's got wonderful, simple, practical ideas. So if you haven't heard of Yvonne, go and check out her channel. She's great to get inspiration from. So it doesn't matter who your teacher is. You don't have to be 100% loyal to me. Spread yourself around. Share the love. And just go and make it and enjoy it. Don't let those pages you're sewing upside down be a bother to you. I've done it. I done it when I first started, but I only done it the once because I cross-check everything I do now. And all I did was snip them off and start again. Pull them out, turn them around, and sewed them back in. And it honestly didn't take me any longer than, it was probably quicker the second time around because the holes were bigger because I'd already pulled the thread through them. Anyway, so I know what it was now. I know what it was. Comparison. I was going to talk about comparison is a killer of creativity. You do not, well, actually, I'm going to start with this question. Do you think your work is awful? Tell me. Come on, ladies. Tell me. Do you think your work is awful? Because I betcha myself or any of the ladies in this chat would look at your work and say they like it. You would even get a little red heart and say they love it. So if you think your work is awful, you've got to rethink again. Rethink that. Don't worry about it. If you make something you don't like, change it. If you make something you don't like, don't make that one again. The next one you make is going to be heaps better. Much better. Because you know what you don't like. Because you made it. And you looked at it. Because when it's in your head, I see things in my head. I can visualize what my journal is going to look like before I even touch the paper with my hands. Not everybody can do that. So if you can't do that and you actually physically have to have that paper in your hands, fold it up, put it in a cover and see it and then go, no, I don't like it. Fine. It doesn't matter. You don't like it. So you change it. But don't compare your work to other people. Don't go, oh, she does beautiful work. Oh, I wish I could do what she does. Oh, I'll never get like that. You know, don't do that, because comparison is a killer of creativity. So stop it. Right, now, if you have made a journal or anything journal related and it has made you feel insecure because you think it's not as good as anyone else's, stop it. That's what I was just saying. And because comparison, I'm reading right off my script here, so I don't forget this important bit. Comparison is a killer of creativity, and it's a thief of joy, because when you look at someone else's talents and abilities that you don't have, that will not lead you to a place of strength that makes you uniquely you. Not trying to be someone else is key to your success. Now go finish that junk journal. I love this. I love talking it up and inspiring you. So I hope just that one little bit there, that comparison is a killer of creativity. I hope that was just, out of everything you hear today, I hope that helped a lot. Rosemary just said, oh, Rosemary, hello. Rosemary just said, yes, but you have to look at other people's work to learn. You absolutely do, but you don't have to crush yourself and compare yourself to what they've done. You look at them and go, I don't like that. I would have done it this way. And that's okay when you say it in your own head. You don't say it out loud on a comment, you know, because you need to lift people up. And it doesn't matter whether you like it or not. There's no point in telling somebody, I don't like that. And if you do look at other people's work and you love it, that's why they show their work. I show my work so you can copy it. You can get inspired and create things that I show you how to make. That's why I'm here. That's why I want to see you finish your journal. I'm going back to the comments. I don't want to miss the juicy bits. Yeah, Gemma, you're a gem to chat with, you know. You're lovely to have a chat with. Gemma said, agreed. Do what you love. Kerry, you should be comfortable with your work because your work is lovely. I love looking at your work too. Carol said she quite often judges her own work and feel it's not as good as others I've seen. Wow, me too, but I don't let it live in my head. I go, oh gee, I wish I was as good as Nick the Booksmith, but I ain't Nick the Booksmith, and I never will be, because she is Nick the Booksmith. She's damn good at what she does, and I don't, you know, like there's no way I can come up with the ideas she comes up with because they're hers. I can copy them, just as I said you copy mine. You copy someone else's that you see. Everything we see. I get ideas just, you know, walking out the road. Wherever you get your ideas from, you can copy them and use them. Gemma, that is a nice thing to say. Gemma said, I am connected to what I create and it reflects who I am, so I love it. That is also how I think too. I think you love it no matter what. You know, like even that cover I showed you a minute ago, I wasn't thrilled about it. I could show somebody else that and they'll say, oh, I love it, I'll have it. I'm not even putting papers in it. I'm not putting pages in it because it hasn't done it for me yet. I haven't got the right finishes on that one yet, but I'm not giving up on it. It'll come to me later. If it doesn't matter. Ginny said, thank you, Donna, for inspiring me. Yeah, can I just share this with you? I love it. I really do love it. I've been crafty and arty and creative and inspiring since childhood. Even my husband says, you are the most inspiring person I know. And he's my best friend. So he's a keeper. He's a keeper, that one, especially when he says lovely things like that to me. And he went to bed early tonight so that I didn't have to listen to the football while we are having our chat. Okay, I'm going back to my notes. I think I've caught up with the chat. I can't repeat everybody's chat. Okay, now I'm nearing the end of this, so I am very close to finishing up this live session. But what I want to do going forward is I want to see, if you want to see exactly how I finish my journals myself. Oh, excuse me. I'm swallowing air like you can't believe. I've created the Facebook group called Finish That Junk Journal. And I'd love for you to join so that you can, join in on inspiring each other. And if you need my help, I'm there for you. So I'll put a link below in a minute when I come up for air. So the key to making your journaling journey easier and actually finishing your projects is to connect with me and other members in the group. I think some of the groups become too big, and I like keeping our group small and cozy. I don't know what's going to happen with the outcome of this group once it gets public. I don't know, but we'll see. So together we can inspire and encourage each other to finish our unfinished creations, or even if you haven't got any that are unfinished, start them and get that inspiration to help you along and get them finished. So if you join my Facebook group, one of the strategies that I want to have in general nature will be, as the group grows, I want to be able to choose one of you, like say you're struggling, say you've got a journal that you haven't completed and you need a little bit more help than just a general chat in a Facebook group and say, oh, what do you think of this, or where should I put this or that. You can put a photo in this group and you can put a chat underneath it, but nominate for this chat to be a one-on-one with me. So I'll chime in on that post with you about your specific need. And anyone else who's got a tip can also add their comment in. But what I will be doing is asking no one else to ask a question on that post. It's your post. So no one can hijack your post. So if you say to me, I need help with this, here's my picture, I'm posting it here, and we start talking and other people come in and help and give their input as well, that's going to encourage you and inspire you to keep going and get your journal finished. So no hijacking allowed on those types of posts. So once we start them off, I don't think the group is going to go 10,000 overnight. So I should be able to, gently, get involved in that sort of thing without everybody being, me being in a panic thinking, how am I going to do all of this work? Because to me it's not work when I can control it and have, you know, a little bit happening at a time in that situation. So it will be bite-sized so that I'm not overwhelmed and you're not overwhelmed. And I also know your time is valuable. So I am going to have another quick look at the chat, and I'm going to finish this live very shortly, and I hope that you are going to be able to be more productive and more organised. I know a few of you ladies in this live tonight, I know you already can achieve whatever you want. You are amazing. So keep going down that road. It doesn't matter whether or not how amazing you are or how many books you've finished or not. It is still something that we can work together in this new group and help each other and inspire each other. And Marthy, I think it's going to be great. In particular, and Kerry, you jump in. And Rosemary, I'd love to see you there as well. You know, the pictures you've just made of that beautiful wedding journal, you know, things like that. You know, you had a lot of hurdles to jump over, a lot of obstacles in your way to get to where you are today. So you're an inspiration on your own. So I hope you come and join as well. And you ladies are an inspiration, and I would love you to be able to help boost anybody who needs that boost. So I hope to see you there. So has anybody got any questions before I toddle off? Because I've got no idea how, oh, this has gone over an hour. It's 9:15 and I started at 8:02 because I was late. For those who don't know, I messed up. I was late. So I've got no idea how many people missed out because I sent a link out to join the live. I started the live and I accidentally stopped it. And then, so that link was dead in the water. There was no way I could reignite that link. And I emailed it to 3,000 people. Can you believe that? 3,000 people got that link that lasted 5 seconds, and I had to make a new one to start this live. I think I've done that before once on my phone, on Facebook. And I had to very quickly send it out again, so I don't know. So I do apologise for messing up, but I'll get it right next time. All right, chat time. Chat time. I think my sister's gone. I can't see her name anywhere. I'll be talking to you tomorrow. Now, any questions? No questions? Any questions? Oh, Helen's just dropped in. She said she's joined late. I'm just on my way out. I was just saying hooray to everybody. And I just thought I'll have a quick look at the questions. But Helen, if you want to keep me here for a minute, you've just got to ask a question. Denise said time doesn't bother me. Yeah, well, you know what? I probably need to take a drink of water. Oh no, we've got to. I think I'm done. I really do. I'm starting to, like, I've stood up for this whole hour, and I normally have to sit down a lot. Over time, I've been able to stand up a little bit longer than normal. So it's really a good time for me to introduce live sessions again, because I can stand up and move around and do what I've got to do. So I've got this laptop here that I'm talking to you on. I've got it set up right in front of me. But you know those sit-stand desks? You just push the button and they go down to sit down. push the button and it comes up. Well, I've just got this laptop sitting on my desk that's up really high, and the webcam is just, you know, pretty close to my chinny chin chin. So yes, Marthy, I think I will go and sit down, and I think I'll have a drink of water, because I don't drink alcohol. I do have a coffee in the morning, but just water. I'm a water girl. I'm a good girl. Okay, I went on. I better check with you, Helen. Helen said covers are my nightmares. I need help with covers, toppers. Will the group focus on certain topics? No, the group will be cover to cover, front to back, upside down, inside out, paper to paper, tea dyeing, coffee dyeing, lace, whatever it takes to get a junk journal made and get you one started and finished. We're going to be working with that. We're going to be going over it. I think that's something that's going to be really helpful for a lot of people. Covers and toppers. Helen, did you see that topper I made a couple of weeks ago? I'll just show it to you just in case. Did you see that? I'm not sure. It's on my channel anyway. If you didn't see it, I'll show it to you. All it is a piece of recycled cardboard, more recycled cardboard, and it's just a topper, and I can, we'll just say that was my journal, and it was big enough to say my journal was bigger. I can just glue that on, so it doesn't matter whether I've made the journal or not. I can just glue that on there, and of course it'd have border all the way around. So if you haven't seen that topper, that's on my channel now, on how to make a vintage topper. I forget the name of what I called the video, but it's only a couple of videos ago, so you won't have to look too long. And that was the cover that I was talking about earlier on during the live. So if you want to, rather than me go over this again, just when I hang up this call, just go back through the live, just skip through it or whatever you want to do, and just have a look for, you know, this what I talked about, this cover here, and what I think about when you don't like a cover, or when you want to change a cover, or you know, you have ideas on a cover and stuff like that. Okay? So that's me all done. I think it's time to say over and out. Ciao for now. Good night from Australia. Good night, everybody.